Hey, good evening, Father's House. Good evening, Father's House. Welcome to our Tenebrae service. Now, with the nature of what we're about to experience tonight, we want to ensure that as many people as we can get into the auditorium before we start, because people coming in and out could be mildly distracting during the service. So we're so grateful that you find yourselves in the room. You might be tuning in online. We're going to be starting our service in about 8 minutes. So continue to mingle, talk to some people, and we'll get started shortly. Thanks for being here, and we will start soon.
It is Friday. All across the world, people are celebrating. And sometimes we detached ourselves from inhabiting not just the story, but the humanity of the story. Tenebrae means darkness. Because we know the whole story of Jesus. We've been told so many times. So often we rush from his death to his resurrection. But we forget that there was a Friday that ended with a sense of finality, of hopelessness. So tonight we're going to be telling the story a little different. Tonight is about you leaning in, I leaning in, and as we prayed in the back, God, that this will not be a production as much as an encounter by walking with you, walking with Jesus, walking with the disciples, that we may feel, that we may experience. So all through this beautiful Tenebrae service, I want to encourage you to not look for entertainment value as much as inviting you to a pilgrimage through the story. At the end of the service, there's going to be a time of silence, and then a time where this room is going to become absolutely dark. I want to remind you that we as people don't know how to deal with silence. And I beg you, don't look at your phone to see how long a minute is, because it feels like an hour. After the darkness, the lights are going to come on, the door's going to open, and we're going to ask that in silence, you go out to the lobby and outside the building, that we remain in silence, because the desire is that we will feel the emotion of hope that died. Even though we know that Sunday is coming, because for many people, and maybe for you, between Friday's hopelessness and Sunday's resurrection, there was Saturday. And if you are living in the Saturday of prayers not being answered, life not playing out the way that you imagined a good God would put it in place, today we want to sit in the reality of the humanity of Jesus, who came and became flesh. He is mindful what it feels like to be human and have his feet in the dust. This is not the story of Jesus, Son of God. This is the story of Jesus, fully human, Son of Man. So, Father, I pray that you would silence the noise in our head, the hurry in our heart, and may we experience the pilgrimage of the most awful day, and yet understand that it's this very day that paid the price for what we couldn't do for ourselves. Amen. So there, Jesus went up to the upper room The disciples followed him. It's Passover. There was great excitement in the city. And again, this room miraculously came together because Jesus said, "Go to the owner of the house, for he has already prepared a room for us." As they entered the room, there was much excitement because surely they've already heard the hosannas. "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." As they came up the stairs, there was a table set. And you know, Jesus was always at his best around a table. And they say, sat down. This was a familiar place to them all. Immediately, they began to feast. But there was a silence in this room. Not a silence of diminished sound, but the silence that usually people with deep intuition would feel first. Others that is just so unaware of feelings began to realize something is different about Jesus in this room. He was not as talkative as always. His eyes were scanning from disciple to disciple to disciple, and that created a little bit of an awkwardness. But you know, usually when he pauses, he's about to make an incredible announcement. So the anticipation was that he was going to tell them that the time has come. For did you not hear the angels say in the city of David was born Jesus, the Messiah that will liberate and save his people? But they did not hear the word from their sin, because you see, they were under Roman oppression. For them, the liberation meant that Jesus will become the conquering warrior, that they were going to rise up, that the oppression of the day was going to subside, and they're going to be free. They waited and waited, and then the moment came, and Jesus said, "Today I will be arrested. They will take me down. I'll be beaten. I will be rejected. And I will be led away to be crucified." But somehow they struggle to understand, because this sounds like the prophecy of the Old Testament, Isaiah, that says, like a lamb led to the slaughter, he will come and be wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquity. The chastisement that was upon. Surely this is not what he is saying. Oh, and there was Peter. Good old Peter. He immediately rose up and said, "I will not allow them, Jesus, to do whatever you think they're going to do tonight, not over my dead fisherman body." And you know, Jesus looked at Peter with so much love. He said, "Peter, tonight, before the roosters crowed 3 times, you're going to deny me." Peter's face sank with anguish. But true to his character, he mustered up the strength and put on the brave face and said, "Jesus, it will never happen." All the other disciples was bewildered by what was going on. Now they're forgetting about the food around the table, because what is happening? We've been together for so long. And then Jesus said, not only that, but there is one among you that is about to betray me into the hands of the Romans. Because he knew there was one, Judas. He trusted Judas. Judas carried the money bag of free donations that would help them with food and lodging. As they went from city to city, and Jesus went about doing good and healing all. But he's been dipping his hands into the money. I know what you're thinking. Judas, you liar, you thief. But you see, Judas didn't do it for himself. Judas was part of a sacred organization called the Ascari. What they would do is they would hunt down the spies and the betrayers of the Jewish people, that would tell the Roman soldiers all of their plans for uprising. Maybe Judas somehow began to realize that Jesus was not going to be the conquering warrior with a sword in his hand. He's not going to be Braveheart that's going to lead Scotland to freedom. Maybe Judas began to realize, let me take the money that was given for freedom to fund our own uprising. Now there is silence, deafening silence. Eyes are moving across the room. Who would be the one, Jesus said, the one who dips his bread into this bowl at the same time as me? It is him. Judas knew that he could no longer hide, because Jesus' eyes compelled him. He knew he had to come out of the shadows. And as he dipped his bread at the same time, the disbelief in the room was palatable. Immediately he got up. He left the room, but there was nothing to say. Then Jesus took the bread and broke it and said, this is my body that's going to be broken for you. He poured the wine and say, like the wine is flowing, so my blood will be poured out to pay for the price that you cannot pay for yourself. Yet, was this a riddle? Was this a myth? Because surely, Jesus, you are the liberator, the king. Dying was not part of the plan. Little did they know that Judas just set in motion what God pre-planned for us long before the foundation of the earth. And as Jesus looked at his disciples, he already knew none of them would rescue. None of them would stand by him. None of them is going to come to his aid. Jesus in that moment had to deal with the pain and the reality of all of their promises were empty. They were simply people. He must have turned his heart towards heaven. He must have had a moment where he connected with God. And in the quietness that has no words, he began to echo the prayer of a journey that's just begun.
Take this fainted heart and take these tainted hands and wash me in your love and come like grace again. Even when my strength is lost, and I'll praise you. Even when I have no song, and I'll praise you. Even when it's hard to find the words louder than I'll sing your praise. I will only sing your praise. And take this mountain weight, and take these ocean tears, and hold me through the trial, and come like hope again. Even when the fight seems lost, and I'll praise you. Even when it hurts like hell, and I'll praise you. Even when it makes no sense to sing louder than I'll sing your praise. Oh, I will only sing your praise. Oh, and my heart burns only for you. You are all I want. And my soul waits only for you. And I will sing till the morning has come. And my heart burns only for you. You are all I want. And my soul waits only for you. And I will sing until the miracle comes. I will only sing your praise. I will only sing your praise. I will only sing your praise. Even when the morning comes, and I'll praise you. Even when the fight is won, and I'll praise you. Even when my time on earth is done, louder than I'll sing your praise. I will only sing your praise.
Soon after the Passover meal, Jesus took his most trusted disciples down to the Garden of Gethsemane. It was an olive grove at the foot of Mount Olive. It is here where Jesus would be pressed between seeking an easier path or the assignment of God that would ultimately cost him his life. He entered the garden fully man, feeling all the emotions that we too are acquainted with. He asked his disciples to remain watchful, and pray lest they too would fall and give in to temptation. He walked deeper into the garden, knelt down, and began to pray with such anguish that blood began to seep through his skin. Father, if there is any other way, please let this cup pass me by. 3 times he came back to his disciples, now fast asleep, and for the 3rd time he prayed, adding these words, "Not my will, but your will be done." Could it be what Jesus felt was that God didn't hear him the first time, or that God was not changing the circumstances that he was asking grace for? Could it be as he was praying, he was thinking, are you small enough to hear me? When finally he surrendered to the will of God and the journey that was set before him, it was not met with celebration or a cheering crowd, but rather the blatant betrayal of a cold kiss from one of his closest friends.
There were times when I was crying from the dark of Daniel's den, and I had asked you once or twice if you would part the sea again. Tonight I do not need a fiery pillar in the sky. Just wanna know you're gonna hold me if I start to cry. Oh, great God, be small enough to hear me now. Oh, great God, be close enough to feel you now. There have been moments when I could not face Goliath on my own. And how could I forget we've marched around our share of Jerichos? But I will not be setting out a fleece for you tonight. Just wanna know that everything will be all right. Oh, great God, be close enough to feel me now. And all praise and all the honor be to the God of ancient mystery, whose every sign and wonder turned the pages of our history. But tonight, my heart is heavy, and I cannot keep from whispering this prayer. Are you there? And I know you could leave writing on the wall that's just for me, or send wisdom while I'm sleeping, like in Solomon's sweet dreams. But I don't need the strength of Samson or a chariot in the end. Just wanna know that you still know how many hairs are on my head. Oh, great God, be small enough and be close enough to feel me now.
And now Jesus was arrested, taken to the courtyard of Pilate by the very people that he came to save. He was manhandled, beaten, humiliated, and abandoned. He was taken before the highest authority, falsely accused, yet never uttered a word. The people, the same people who witnessed the miracles, who yelled, "Hosanna, God in the highest," who laid down their palm branches, now shouted, "Give us Barabbas and crucify Jesus." Outside in the courtyard, Peter, in a moment of terror and fear of being confronted as one of Jesus' followers, uttered these words, "I never knew this man." Jesus was whipped 39 times. His beard plucked hair by hair, and a crown of thorns thrusted onto his head. A stained robe was placed around his shoulders as the echo of the mocking crowd and the words of the Roman soldiers were hurled at him. Look at this Jesus, King of the Jews.
They are the best and the worst you've created, loving and hating and opinionated, loners in basements and those congregated. Deliver me far from the peaceful shore I was sinking, deep in the ocean of thoughts they were thinking. Don't know what validation I was seeking. Deliver me from people. When you said you could heal me from many things, did you mean people? Deliver me, 'cause I can't point them out. I won't say the names. I don't know the damage or which one to blame. It's just people. Deliver me.
She was the reason I smiled in the morning. He took the last bit of joy I was storing. That's too much power for anything human. Deliver me from people. When you said you could heal me from anything, did you mean people? Deliver me, 'cause I can't point them out. I won't say their names. I don't know the damage or which one to blame. It's just people. Deliver me. Oh, the hurt are hurting and the broken are breaking, and the ones who had their joy taken away are out here hating from other people.
time finally came as a dense, rugged wooden cross weighing approximately 100 pounds was placed on the weakened and battered body of Jesus. His face disfigured, his body broken. In that moment, the words of the prophet Isaiah were fulfilled. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering. Yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him. And by his wounds, we are healed. We all, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way. And the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shears is silent, so he did not open his mouth. And he began to walk 2,000 feet to Golgotha, the place of the skull. In his mind, even in this moment, he must have still been begging his eternal Father for mercy.
I needed your grace more than I thought I'd ever would. You forgave more than I thought you'd ever could. And I was stronger in my head, but truth is, I need your grace. I needed your grace more than I thought I ever would. You forgave more than I thought you ever could. I was stronger in my head, but truth is, I need your grace. I need your grace. I need your grace. I need your grace. Oh, couldn't make it without your grace. I'd be lost without your grace. I need your grace. Oh, thank God for your grace. I really need your grace. Oh, I need your I needed your grace more than I thought I ever would. And there he lay,
his broken body wrapped up in linen and placed in a borrowed tomb. No one, not a single follower, no one, not a disciple, even came close to this most awful and lonely moment. A gigantic stone was rolled before the entrance of his tomb and sealed with a royal seal so that no one could steal his body and profess his resurrection. And suddenly, with a thunderous sound, the tomb was closed. Light was snuffed out. The eternal, deafening silence. Like a heavy blanket of shame, his lifeless body surrendered. The Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the King of glory, the one who hung all of the stars in his existence, the hope of all humanity. His life snuffed out and all of creation held its breath.
Heart could tell a story, if my life could sing a song, if I have a testimony, if I have anything at all. No one ever cared for me like Jesus. His faithful hand has held me all this way. And when I'm old and gray and all my days are numbered on the earth, let it be known, in you alone my joy is found. Oh, I found my joy in you. Let my children tell their children. Let this be their memory. That all my treasure was in heaven, and you were everything to me. No one ever cared for me like Jesus. His faithful hand has held me all this way. And when I'm old and gray and all my days are numbered on the earth, let it be known, in you alone my joy was found.
You're still enough for me. Still all I want. You're still